Hey guys, welcome back. And as we remember, in our last video, we spoke about user-defined functions. And we just talked in brief what are built-in function. So in this video, we'll totally understand which are the various type of built-in function and what do built-in functions look like. Yeah. So there are base functions from which it is get derived, and we'll look into some of the examples. I'll try to show you the examples and the hierarchy in which building function works, and basically how to handle them, how to use them. So we'll start with understanding what are built-in functions. So built-in functions or building exceptions. Sorry to quote it incorrectly. So building exceptions or error are predefined error classes in Python that handle errors and exceptional conditions in program. Now they are derived from the base class. So base exception is always there and part of the standard library. Okay. Now there are various type of standard built-in functions in Python. So let me uh, various type of built-in functions, built-in exceptions. Yeah. So we'll see what are the various type of building exceptions that you have. Let's start with one. The first one is your normal exception. So this is your base exception always. So this is base class for all exceptions. So this do not require a specific error to occur. So for any error, you can run this exception. The next on the list is stop iteration. This particular exception is raised when the next method of an iterator. So it could be a loop, for loop, or while loop, does not point to any object. Yeah. We'll just go through one by one and then later on, we'll see some of the examples that I mostly use. So system exit, this is raised by the sys.exit method or function, you can say. Then you have a standard error. This occurs when base class for a base class, that is our original exception that we spoke of in the first point itself. So the base class for all built-in exceptions except stop iteration and system exit. Okay, so this is standard error. So you can run through any error except these two errors, which can be uh, run through this except this built-in exception. So standard error are anything apart from stop error, stop iteration, and system exit. Yeah. Then we have arithmetic error. This particular exception is a base class for all errors which are related to numeric calculations. Yeah. Then which one? Overflow error. This particular error is raised when a calculation exceeds a given limit. So if a calculation exceeds a maximum limit for a numeric type. So as we know, an integer has 8 bits, decimal has 16 or 64 bits, whichever you uh, come across at. Next is your floating point error. You need to take care that the caps I am these are purposefully kept capital alphabets, like the floating F is capital, point P is capital. This is how you need to write the exception when you are actually writing it any program. So this particular is raised when a floating point calculation fails. So any calculation we had, same as we had arithmetic error, we have floating point error where floating point calculation fails. Yeah. Next, we have zero division. We have seen this a lot of time when were running through the example of try block. Yeah, this is very common error that occurs when you are doing any divisions. So this is raised, as you know, when division or modulo by 0 takes place. Yeah, for all numeric types. So either it be float or it could be integer, any type, it will give you this error if the numerator is divided by 0. Next is the assertion error. This particular error is raised in case of failure of the assert statement. We know what assert statement is. If you do not remember, then you can go and refer my previous videos on it. Yeah. Then let me remember what else we have. Then we have the attribute error. Yeah. Attribute error occurs in case uh, of failure of attribute reference or assignment. I'll take you through the common errors. Don't worry. I'm just taking you through a lot of errors or the exceptions which are built in Python, which we can use. Yeah. So EOF error, this is raised uh, when there is no input from either the raw input or input function. So when we do not give any input to the input function and we just move ahead, then it will be triggered. Yeah. Next is import error. Now this is raised when an import statement fails. Okay. Pretty simple. Then we have lookup error when base class for all lookup errors. So this is base class for all lookup errors. Yeah. So any kind of lookup function that comes in, like you're trying to reference any kind of values, then this particular error would get triggered. So this is the base class for lookup errors, any kind of lookup errors. Index error, this could uh, occurs when an index is not found in sequence. Yeah. What else? I'm just trying to remember a lot of things which I probably can take you through. Key error. We have seen this error in some of your examples. This is raised when the specified key in the dictionary is not found. Yeah. Yeah. So when you are trying to find a key from a dictionary, then this error may occur. Yeah. Name error. These are some of the common errors like key error, name error, arithmetic error, or zero division error. These are very common errors. I'll take you through some of the examples that frequently occur. So coming back to name error, this is raised when an identifier is not found in the local or global scope. So this occurs when you are trying to run a function and you have variable which you are trying to find and that is not found. Okay. Next is unbound local error. Now this particular error is raised when you are trying to access a local variable in a function or method, but no value has been assigned. So you have defined a local variable, but there is no value assigned to it. So at that point of time, you get an unbound local error. Then we have the environmental error. This particular error, this is base class for all exceptions that occur outside the Python environment. Yeah. So if you're trying to access anything which is outside the Python environment, then this particular error will occur. Okay. What else? Some of the common errors we went through there during our examples or previous videos were IO error. Yeah. So the IO error occurs or this is raised when input or output operations fails. Now, such as the print statement or the open function when trying to open a file that does not exist. So this is raised when input or output operation fails. You need to remember that. Okay. OS error. This particular error is raised on operating system related error. So this is error related to operating system. Yeah. What else? Yeah, syntax error. This was the one we started with when we started this topic on errors and exceptions. So syntax error. So this error will occur if there is any error in Python syntax. Yes. I do not need to explain what do you mean by Python syntax because we have done a complete video on this. Yeah. Then you have the indentation error. So suppose you are running a while loop or a for loop, and if the statements are not properly indented, yeah, then is not applied properly. Okay, so if you do not do a proper indentation, this way occur. So this is a common error once again. Uh, what else? System error. Now, about this occur. So this is raised when the interpreter is quit by using the exit sys.exist function. Yeah. So if this particular thing is not handled in the code, causes the interpreter to exit. Yeah. So, no, no, this is system exit. Okay, I'm not talking about system error. That this will occur when you system exit. Yeah. So this will occur when you try to quit using the sys.exist. Yeah. Now, if this is not handled in the code, causes the interpreter to exit. Yeah. And then you have this system error as well. Yeah. So apart from system exit, you have system error where you where the interpreter finds an internal problem, but when this error is encountered, interpreter does not exit the code. So enter finds an internal problem, but it does not exit the code. In the above function, it exits the code. Above exception, it exists there. Then we have the type error. When do we have the type error? So this could be, I can say, when an operation or uh, function is attempted, which is invalid. Yeah, that is invalid for the specified data type. So this could be you are trying to do an operation on integer values and trying to get an output in a floating data point, or you are trying to combine the operations of integer and floating data point, which will not happen. So that's where you get the type error. Yeah, then you have the value error. Yeah, this is raised when a built-in function for data type has the valid type of arguments, but the arguments have invalid values. Okay, so if you have specified a data type integer, but you have specified in the form of a string, then you'll get a value error. Next is the runtime error. This can occur when when uh, any error that is generated does not fall in any of the above or building categories. Okay. And lastly, not implemented error. Uh, so this will occur for classes when uh, a certain method needs to be implemented in an inherited class. However, actually it is not implemented. Yeah. So these are some of the built-in exceptions that you can use. I can show you some of the examples like which occur mostly during my coding. Some of the examples like index error. As you know, when we are trying to access an invalid index. So suppose I have a list of numbers. So suppose I have marks in a list of 10, comma 20, comma 30, comma 40. Yeah. And there are only four index. So there is one, this is zeroth index, this is one, this is two and three. Now, if I try to access the fourth index, which is not available here, it will give me an index error because that is not available here. Let's see the error. So we have only three index, 0, 1, 2, and 3, wherein I'm trying to access the fourth index here, which will give me the index error. Yeah. So this is, yeah. So this is one of the error that may occur. Another error which I probably missed in the above list is module not found error. Now this particular occur is displayed when a module could not be found. So suppose I say import not a module which is not available. Yeah. So if I'm trying to run this particular module is not available at all. I am trying to import it. So hence it gives me a module not found error. So no module named not found error, not a module is there. So hence you get a module not. So if you're trying to import something which does not exist in Python, you will get this kind of error. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cover some of the errors which frequently occurs due to manual uh, problem. So suppose I have the dict one, which is a dictionary A123. Now I'm trying to access a key which is not available above. So this dict one has a key D, which is not available in the dictionary. So that's what I'm trying to get to. And if I try to run this, I'll get a key error because D is not available in the dictionary. So that is the key error that we come across. Then we may come across an import error. So import error. This particular error can occur if you are trying to import a particular library or a function which is not available. So suppose I have this math module, I want to import uh, cube, which is not available in the function. So it should give me an import error because you cannot import cube which is not available. So this is where the import error comes into picture. Yeah. Now, now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you some of the common errors that comes through. So I won't be able to cover all the 29 or 30 errors that I've shown, but I try to cover mostly the errors which are which occurs when you try to do your task. Yeah. So the next error that we are going to look at is the stop iteration. So this will occur if I am trying to iter through a list of values using the next. Well, okay. Type error. Let me see what I'm doing wrong. One, two, three. Next dot IT I'm just trying to run this. Invalid syntax. It's giving me the wrong error. Let me explain it. Let me see what I'm doing wrong. I'm doing it right, but I don't know why it is not showing it properly. So this is what it will get in try statement next IT. If I try to do this line will raise a stop iteration, which is supposed to do. So the first three iteration it will run through. Yeah. And then once I run this, it will give me a stop iteration, but it is not giving me. Just give me, let me check once again. Yeah, so it is giving me right now. So you can see here, the stop iteration error has come. So this is where list object is not callable because the list has got exhausted. You just ignore this as of now, but you can see here the stop iteration error, which has occurred because I have called this iteration even though it has got exhausted. The list has got exhausted. Yeah. Most common error. So we have the typo error as well, which is so I can have print. I am trying to I'm trying to print something like 100 plus 100. Yeah. So I'm trying to add a string to a numeric value, which is a type error. You cannot concatenate string with an integer. You need to have a string with a string, or I need to have a number with a number to add them. Yeah. So that is a type error. Another common error that you have is the value error. Now, this particular error will occur when the function argument is inappropriate. So, suppose I'm trying to print integer of I scan analyze. So, this is alphabetic or you have alphabet or a string value inside it, which I'm trying to convert into an int, which is not possible. Hence, it will give me a value error. Yeah, so invalid literal for int. So this I scan analyze cannot be converted to an integer. Next common error that you can have is the name error. Yeah, so this is encountered when the object could not be found. So I'm trying to print uh, I scan analyze as a variable, which is not available. I just put ECA. Yeah, I'm trying to print something. I'm taking it as a variable. I'm thinking ECA is a variable and I'm trying to print it, which is not available. Hence, it will come up with a name error. And see, ECA is not defined. Hence, I need to define this ECA first and then get into printing it. Next, our favorite, zero division error. We know this very well. If you are trying to divide an integer with to 100 divided by 0. So if I try to divide something with a 0, it will give me a zero division error. Yeah. And another error that we can mostly have is the keyboard interrupt. So if you interrupt anything, when a user hits the interrupt key normally, Control C, which is yeah, during the execution of program, then it comes up with this error. So if I am asking for an input, So if I say name equals to input, please enter your name. Yeah. So I'm asking for a name, but I will try to interrupt it saying that I do not want to input it. So I press Control C. Yeah. By which I'm trying to interrupt the course of action. I'm trying to do it. I try to do it from here. Yeah. So you can see keyboard interrupt. So I have interrupted this operation. I have not completed the operation. Hence it is giving me this error. Yeah. So these are some of the functions that you usually come. These are some of the exceptions or errors that you commonly come across, which I've taken. Others you can explore. Yeah. But you need to remember that how the exceptions will occur. Yeah. So just for your understanding, the hierarchy of building exceptions will look like you have this base exception, then you have the system exit, yeah. Then under base exception, you have the system exit or keyboard error, which is the keyboard interrupt, yeah. Then you have all the exceptions. So this is, as I said, under exceptions, you will not get system exit and keyboard interrupt. We have discussed about it. Under this common handling exception, you will have the arithmetic error. Yeah. And under arithmetic, you will have the floating point error. You will have the overflow error. You will have the zero division error. Yeah. Then you have the under exception itself, you will have the attribute error. Then you have the end of file uh, error. What else you have under exceptions? Mm, import error. Then you have the lookup error. Yeah. Now under lookup, there are multiple errors that you can have. Is the index error. This is one of the lookup error. Yeah, when you're trying to find out the index, you can have the key error which occurs in dictionary because this is again, I'm trying to find out a key through that's a lookup. Yeah. Then you have the under exceptions, you have the memory error. Mm, you have name error. Under name error, again, we have unbound local error about the unbound local error. Yeah. And what else? You have the OS error. So you can see there are almost all the errors are the hierarchy is under exception. Yeah. Only these two are out of exception, hence this will not be covered under the exception. So if you even if you define this, if any of this error occurs, will be automatically covered under exception. But if you want to be precise, you can cover these errors under your exceptions one by one. Yeah. So under OS error, you can have file not found error. Yeah. Then you have type error. Then you have value error. Yeah. And then you have all types of error. Yeah. Other errors which come under exception. So all errors except this two, which is base exception, doesn't cover all these errors. Yeah. So exception is the one handler which covers all the exception. So if you do not, even if you do not know the error and you want to cover that error, you can directly keep it as exception and just run your try block statement. Yeah, that will cover all the errors which are available. Okay. So how to use it? Yeah. So there are various ways in which you can so could be a new topic altogether where how to use built-in statement, built-in exceptions. So as you already know that building exceptions in Python are predefined classes. Now that handles specific error condition. Now here is a detailed guide on how we can do that. So it can be done through a try block statement. So I can handle this particular exception. So how I can do it, it's handling the exception using the try except block. So I can handle an exception using try except block by saying try, and I'll say result equals to 100 divided by 0, which will give me a zero division error. So what I'm doing, and I'm having an exception, zero division error, which is my exception that will come across. And I will print out a message saying that zero division by zero is not allowed. So this is how you can handle the various type of exceptions in through a try except block. You can have multiple exceptions. We have seen this earlier when we discuss about exception handling. So you let me just handling multiple exceptions. How we can do that? I can have the same thing here. So can have a try block, and we can have the result of int of I scan analyze. Yeah, we cannot convert it to int, and this could give you a type error or value error. So I will have the except. And how would I write multiple errors or multiple exceptions? So I would write it in a parenthesis, invalid value entered. Yeah. So this is the message that we are going to type. Yeah. Since the value is inappropriate, so any kind of error that occurs because of value error and type error will give you this particular message. Yeah. You can also handle uh, handle through else and finally block. Yeah. So I can have handle through else block. I can have try 100 or divide by 10, which will usually, if I do not divide it by 10, then it will give me a zero division error. But right now it will give me the result as 10. Yeah. But if I divide it by 0, it will give me the zero division error. So else is helping me to define what my result would be based on the input that I do. Yeah. And then we can handle exception using uh, finally block. As we know, finally it will be executed even if I do not return anything. Even if the output or is right. Yeah. So we have this. So it is zero division. This will always be executed. So the finally block will always be executed if you want to run a particular code. Yeah. What I can do is also I can explicitly raise built-in exception. Yeah. So we saw how we can use the exceptions through various block. We can also do is we can explicitly, sorry for the typo, explicitly uh, raise built-in exceptions. Yeah. So how we can do that is uh, so you can raise built-in exceptions to indicate errors or exceptional conditions in your code. We know that, yeah. Now this allows you to handle specific error scenarios and provide informative error messages to user or developer debugging your application. So usually how we do is through a syntax that we know uh, when you want to raise an exception. So you need to have raise as the keyword, and then you have the exception class name. Yeah. And then you have the error message. So that is the message that will be displayed for a particular error that occurs due to this raising of the exception. Yeah. So let me use the same zero division error that we caused. So to show you how it happens. So if I have this definition divider, so this is the example that we have used earlier as well. So if I'm passing this to variable, I'm trying to divide this 100 by 0 by passing the variables here, and it is checking whether b is equals to 0. If b is equal to 0, it will automatically raise the zero division error and give you this message. So let me run this program. And you can see the division by 0 is not allowed. So this particular error, the built-in function is automatically raised when I try to raise it outside the block. Yeah, where the error is not encountered, but it is raised when the division is automatically occurred here. Yeah. So these are various ways in which you can handle exceptions, and these are the various built-in functions and the uses which you can have in your program to handle errors. Yeah. This was an exhaustive video. I hope you liked this video. Hope you understood the concept. That's the more important thing that we need to have. Hope you like this video. Do like it and share it across to your colleagues who want to learn Python. Do comment if you have any views or feedback about this examples or the explanation that I'm giving. Uh, do give your inputs if you want to share your knowledge regarding this particular topic with all my viewers. And yes, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, because that's how you will get my further videos that I post on YouTube. Thank you so much.